What is a cloud? If you ask 5 people, you'll probably get 6 different answers. Cloud is something that it means a lot of things to different people. Is it a place where you swipe a credit card and buy something? Is it something that is a managed service? There's all kinds of different definitions for cloud. Cloud really is something that's not new from a concept perspective. John McCarthy first proposed the idea of computing being delivered as a public utility back in 1961. Salesforce.com in 1999 really introduced that concept of software as a service and some of the very beginnings of cloud. And Amazon Web Services in 2002. Bottom line is, this stuff has really been around for a while, and it's evolved, and it's going to continue to evolve. But one of the things we really need to do is to ensure that we're all speaking the same language. So from a definitions perspective, let's use the NIST definition for cloud. And NIST stands for National Institute of Standards and Technology. And they have a cloud definition that really encompasses a lot of the things that we're going to be talking about. So it's focused on the essential characteristics of cloud, the service models that cloud's delivered by, and then the deployment models for cloud. So from the essentials perspective, the first and foremost, it's got to have broad network access. You've got to have the ability to be able to reach it from wherever you are, so that you have that ability to be able to get access to the resources and services it offers. Also, cloud is focused on rapid elasticity. Cloud is something that is really designed to be able to expand and contract based on the utilization of the service. It's also a measured service. So much like a utility, where you'd have a bill, like in the case of power, the same thing would happen within cloud. So based on how much you use it, how much CPU, how much storage, how much bandwidth, you would be charged accordingly. It's also an on-demand self-service environment. In other words, it doesn't exist, the cloud service doesn't exist until you turn it on, until you instantiate it. And also it has this concept of resource pooling. The fact of the matter is, cloud technologies, the underlying infrastructure, is all just a common pool of resources that can be then used and then decommissioned when it's not needed anymore. There's also a number of service models. So you'll hear things like software as a service or SaaS. You'll hear platform as a service, infrastructure as a service. All of these are just examples of different ways that cloud can be provided. And we'll go into more detail on those later. In addition, the deployment models. You've got a public cloud environment, a private cloud environment, hybrid, and community. So let's dig down a little bit more into those. The public cloud is really a public resource. So it's almost like a hotel if you think about it. It supports multiple customers. You've got the ability to be able to go in, use it, and leverage the capabilities of it, and then turn it off when you're finished. You have connectivity that's generally provided over the internet, and it's also billed by use. So in other words, if you're going to leverage the private cloud, you've got to keep your eye on that billing meter. That's one of the downsides of public cloud, is it's really easy to get started and really easy to spin up, but it can get expensive as the more that you use it. From a private cloud perspective, this is designed as a solution that's really dedicated to a single organization. It's a dedicated resource for that organization. So if you have a private cloud as a company, this is something that you would then have internally for your own personal use. It's not something you're going to share with another company. So if you're, Coke in this case, you're not sharing resources with Pepsi. This is all yours. Connectivity is generally provided through the internet, but it can also be provided over fiber or a private network. And it also is available either on-premise or off-premise. There's also a concept called a community cloud. And the community cloud is really a collaborative effort that allows different organizations to be able to share infrastructure. So in the case of a community cloud, you've got organizations that have very common concerns. In some cases, it may be security concerns, the mission that they have as an organization, policy, compliance, all these types of things. So if you're in the public sector or you're in government, you typically have heard of community clouds. It's something that's very common in those types of areas. And really it is just a common set of resources that community would then share, and it's generally owned or managed by one or more of those organizations. It allows them to be able to share the resources and really share the cost. In addition, this also can be something that exists on premises or off premises. And last but not least is that hybrid cloud concept. This is really an exciting area because it's a combination of the benefits of both a public cloud as well as a private cloud environment. So in the case of, a situation where you're, as a customer, that you have certain resources that you need that really spike during different parts of the year. So like in the case of retail, if you're going to have a lot of sales that are going to occur, towards the holiday seasons, you generally have to have a lot more resources at that time. Well, you don't want to build all of those resources and just have them sit there throughout the rest of the year. You want to be able to leverage them when you need them. That's where hybrid cloud comes into play. This allows you to be able to burst into the public cloud, leveraging excess capacity and extra capacity when you need it, and then when you don't need it, you turn that back, and you basically only just pay for what you use. In addition, this is also something that can be leveraged both on-premise and off-premise. So you're noticing that there's a lot of connectivity options here. But really where it sits is not really truly the definition. It really kind of comes down to how you're controlling it. In addition, on a hybrid cloud, you generally have to have orchestration between the two clouds. You have to have some software, some intelligence to be able to leverage, to know when to leverage one side of either the private cloud or the public cloud, and how to really merge and connect the control processes between the two.